So as you can see, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot gone on since I did that news item. But I'm going to spend the rest of this hour focusing on two news items. One is breaking news to do with the Pope, and the second one is an expose that has been quite cleverly compiled together by one of our members posting under the pseudonym of Ella. And I'm going to read through that, and then in the second hour we're going to get to some rather booming intel. So what took place recently was the Ninth Circle Catholic Black Mass, which normally takes place in Geneva, was halted. This is generally coincides with the summer solstice. In fact, all the solstices and the certain moon dates, they do ritual sacrifice both around the world and under the Vatican. Whether people like that idea or not, it is real, and unfortunately lots of children and other people have been sacrificed in the steps below the Vatican. 10 floors it goes down. Some real hideous stuff that goes on there. Pope Francis was confronted this week by common law sheriffs, and now they're saying the Pope's ill, which is a cover story that conceals the incident that went on and the real purpose of the papal visit. So common law sheriffs armed with a standing arrest warrant confronted and temporarily restrained Pope Francis on Thursday as he approached the Ecumenical Centre, which he was scheduled to address delegates to the World Council of Churches. After a brief scuffle between the arresting sheriffs and the Vatican security, the Pope was released and rushed into a waiting vehicle. Two of the sheriffs were heavily beaten and detained by the Vatican agents and then arrested by Geneva police along with two other people. A complete on-the-ground description of the incident will follow. I'll read that out shortly. But according to a source in the Vatican and confirmed by others in Geneva, as a result of this confrontation, the clandestine ceremony of the Catholic Ninth Circle Coven that was scheduled for that evening was cancelled due to security concerns. Now, the same Vatican sources confirms that Pope Francis, Jorge Bergoglio, was to be present at the Ninth Circle cult ceremony along with top WCC officials, World Church officials, and Swiss political leaders. Now, the Ninth Circle ceremonies normally involve the ritual rape and murder of at least one young child. Well, this is according to many eyewitnesses who have come forward, and there's one on itccs.org from 2013, which is titled "I Saw Joseph Ratzinger Murder a Little Girl," and he was an eyewitness to a 1987 ritual sacrifice. So you can go and read about that on Kevin Annett's site, itccs.org. And there's transcripts of Anne-Marie van Blijgenbergs, who's about child murders in Belgium also. Now, in the wake of the attempted arrest of the Pope Francis, who was duly convicted for crimes against humanity in a Brussels common law court in the summer of 2014, the Vatican has released a cover story claiming that the Pope suffered a fall during the WCC conference and may be experiencing an undisclosed health problem. Well, anyone who's seen that video will realise it was all staged. Look at his face. All staged. This is what they do. It's a fake story, and it may be a preparatory move prior to the Pope being removed as the Pope. Watch this space. So his unprecedented appearance in Geneva this week was prompted by Switzerland's so-called Sovereign Money Initiative, a referendum to decide whether the country's money supply would be controlled by a single national bank. Good luck with that. We'll find out more about that later. And restricting the power of private banks to extend credit and lend money. Now, the Vatican Bank has considerable assets tied into the Swiss banking system, which may no longer exist shortly, and stood to lose if the SMI was approved, Sovereign Money Initiative. Unconfirmed reports state that prior to his WCC appearance, the Pope met privately with Swiss political leaders and financiers to help block the SMI from passing or being implemented. And some of these leaders were scheduled to be present at the Ninth Circle ceremony on June the 21st. Now, further updates about these events, the fate of the detained common law sheriffs and footage of the attempted arrest will be forthcoming once every effort is made to secure the release of the imprisoned men. So it seems if they put the video out, those people will never be released. This was issued by the ITCCS Central Office, a report of Combined Action Units Team A and Team B, what took place yesterday at the World Council of Churches. As arranged according to our original tactical plan, both Teams A and Team B deployed before the WCC event at which the subject, Pope Francis, was to speak. Team A acted in an open, diversionary capacity, and Team B was placed in concealment so as to make the formal arrest of the subject. The Pope's location was positively identified by our inside source as being immediately adjacent to the WCC pavilion, some 50 yards from the site. Now, upon receipt of the source's signal that the subject, Bergoglio, had begun to move towards the pavilion, Team A members deployed at the front and rear entrances of the WCC pavilion, along with the designated approach route of subject Pope. In that position, they were quickly confronted by the Vatican undercover operatives and assisted by Geneva regular police, Swiss guards, you see. Now, what took place next is a scuffle broke out and 2 of the A team were physically restrained by the Geneva police, and the remaining team members then drew security forces away from the Pope's approach route to allow the concealed Team B members to make the arrest of the subject just outside the pavilion. Now, as the Pope approached the pavilion with his retinue and personal bodyguards, 2 Team B members performed a secondary diversion, drawing away the bodyguards, and the 4 remaining Team B members then moved onto the subject. Contact was made and the ICLCJ arrest warrant was read aloud to the Pope, who appeared rather shocked and immobilised. 2 Team B members then quickly placed the subject in restraint and attempted to escort him to the prearranged secure location. None of the remaining Vatican retinue intervened to protect the Pope. They appeared confused and rather uncertain with what to do. But within 30 seconds, however, additional Vatican security personnel who had not been anticipated or reported by the source appeared on the scene. These personnel immediately assaulted the 2 Team B members who were restraining the Pope, and another scuffle broke out. The other 4 Team B members then withdrew according to tactical protocol, while the 2 assaulted operatives were held at gunpoint by the Vatican security personnel after receiving a severe beating. Now, the Pope was released and immediately rushed towards a waiting vehicle. In total, 2 Team A members and 2 Team B members were placed under arrest by the Geneva police, and these 4 operatives are still being held incommunicado and we assume are being interrogated. Now, we have learned from our source that the Vatican security had an official of the Holy Alliance are present at these interrogations, which raises a strong concern about a genuine risk to the team members' lives. We therefore recommend immediate intervention to secure team members' release, especially considering the injured condition of the 2 Team B members who were beaten badly by the Vatican security personnel. Now, despite the failure of the arrest, of the Pope, we have learned from our source that the planned Ninth Circle sacrificial ritual scheduled for midnight June the 21st at the Basilica Notre Dame had been cancelled because of security concerns. The Pope had planned to participate at this ritual and was also confirmed by the source. Our intervention can therefore be regarded as a success in terms of stopping the ritual, and there will be a follow-up of information to confirm the cancellation is forthcoming. But that's what took place yesterday. I don't think we're going to see a Pope in place for too much longer. It's not just, Kevin's done sterling work. Of course, I did an interview with Kevin on Tuesday, which is now available to the public. It's on Patreon, and I think Michael will be posting that either today or tomorrow on YouTube. That's the kind of things that Kevin Annett and his team have been involved in, going direct and taking these people on. As usual, they wheeled out bully boys, but it won't go unnoticed. They can't afford anymore to carry people who are under the cosh for crimes. It's costing them a vast amount of funds to keep the people at bay from finding out of what's really going on.